and this is actually figure 1 in this chapter. I think the author kind of figured out that, hey, at this point, these students might be getting a little bit confused. So let's take a step back and define what different markets, how do we decide, oh, that's a monopoly, or oh, that's monopolistic competition, or oh, that's an oligopoly, which we'll talk about next week. Next week, honestly, there's no graphs. It's all payoff matrices, which you're like, crap, what are you going to throw me a curveball? It's actually really cool. So stay tuned, next week's one. You ask yourself one question to start. What's my number of firms? Okay. What's my number of firms? All right. And if that answer is 1 firm, okay, then we are obviously looking at a monopoly. And that's chapter 15, which we covered last week. Okay. And examples of that are like utility companies, maybe. Let's say a water company. Now, some of these, as we learned last week, monopolies, some of them are by design, right? A lot of utility, is there 8 different power companies right now serving this one area? There's 1. Why? Where does this electricity come from? Anybody? How is it generated?
A generator?
Well, no, I mean, but how is the generator powered? Lake Murray, that would be SCNG in the Midlands. How is this power on? Power.
Nuclear power plant.
In Oconee, nuclear power plant. Okay. Do you want every Tom, Dick, and Harry having a nuclear power plant? Negative. What's a nuclear power plant powered by?
Water.
No, it's cooled by water. You're thinking hydroelectric. That's the one in Columbia, Lake Murray, the big dam. Let water run through there and turns turbines, and that generates electricity, and then they take that electricity and send it out to the community. What's turning turbines that are powering this light? Heat. What's hot enough to make it turn that fast?
I don't know the name of our
Plutonium. Okay. All right. Nuclear. What's the problem if you don't have just one place doing that? What if you had Billy Bob's nuclear plant? You know, boom. Or, oh great, some Syrians just stole our plutonium, our nuclear waste, to make a dirty bomb. Do you have to regulate that? Can you just go up to the Duke nuclear plant and go, ding dong, I'm here to take a look around? You ever been there? The lake up there is incredible, Lake Kiwi and all that, right? With Jocassee above that. It's like emerald green water, clear, it's like the Caribbean. They also have catfish and bass that are huge because the water's very warm. Why is the water very warm? Because it has to be near a lake so they can run water through it to keep those rods cool. They want them hot, but not that hot. They're turning turbines, we turn on the lights, we have lights. Not every Tom, Dick, and Harry needs to be a... So monopolies can be a good thing, right? Yeah. Can they be a bad thing? Yeah. Do we have regulations against that? Yeah. The school bookstore is a monopoly. You ever think about that? We've done our best. It's not as bad as it was here, say, when I was at Clemson. When I was at Clemson, I paid, on average, $500, $600 for my textbooks every semester. You guys don't do that. You pay a flat fee. We've worked very hard at that. You know why? Because you've got a bunch of faculty that have been in school for a long, long time and have all gotten screwed over by the bookstore. So we're trying not to do the same thing to you. But most universities, bookstores, a monopoly, you have no other choice but to buy their books. Okay. Cable TV. I would say less on cable TV. I'm going to say internet. I can stream with any number of businesses now, but really Charter in my neighborhood is the only thing that has enough speed to help me stream YouTube TV, Netflix, HBO Max, all these things, you know? So one firm, monopoly, chapter 15, okay? Few firms. Define few. Where I grew up, it always 2 to 3. Look, can we say 3? Can we say 2? 2 to 3? Let's go. I would say 4. Specifically, if of that 4, there were really 2 to 3 that did everything. You know what I mean? Remember the steel plant example where you did the Remember how it pared down? It went from a competitive market to more of a, what's this? Oligopoly. I would have named one of my kids oligopoly if I could have. I love that word. Okay. And that is chapter 17. All right. Tennis ball manufacturers. Anybody play tennis? Okay. Cigarette makers. There's only a handful of cigarette companies, really is. They've been almost sued into non-existence. They've actually, a lot of them have moved into the food industry. Now they just kill you with obesity instead of cancer. So, all right. 2 firms, let's say 2, 3. Then over here, many firms. Now, when you've got many firms, you got to ask yourself a different question. Type of product. All right. And there's essentially 2 different types of products. There's identical products. And that's chapter 14. Okay. And that would be perfect. Okay. Competition. Many buyers, many sellers, identical products. Gallons of milk, bushels of wheat, pounds of hamburger. Okay, you eat a hamburger, you wonder if that cow's from Kansas, South Carolina, or Idaho. You don't care, right? We do care because if it's not very good, you might want to stay away from that one. But these are like commodities, things like wheat, milk, etc. Okay, clothing being that as well. I'd put them in differentiated. Maybe white t-shirts. Yeah. You know, like undershirts. What I got under here? I have a V-neck white t-shirt. Yeah, if I'm looking for V-neck white t-shirts, I can get them a lot of different places. The more identical they become. But then again, you got tagless, not tagless. So, you know, I would say they're probably differentiated products. Or services. And if they're differentiated, welcome to this week, Monopolistic Competition. All right, that is chapter 16, which we are right now. Okay. The examples they give are terrible, to be honest. Terrible. I'm not even going to give their examples. If products are similar but not identical, what do you have to do to differentiate yourself, to point out these differences? Make a better quality or a different feature, innovative, different camera on your phone, that kind of thing. What do you suppose there's something that you see a lot of in this? What? So look at these. There was once a milk campaign, to drink milk. They were saying, hey, people are not drinking milk as much. But do you see Farmer A advertising against Farmer B? Do you see a lot of advertisements for Duke Energy? Okay. I don't know the last time I saw a tennis ball or a cigarette commercial. Okay. What happens here? They're similar, but not identical. Who's got an iPhone? Hold it up. Anybody got a Samsung? Okay. All right. Okay. Smartphones, right? I think that's a better example. What do you see? Products that have to advertise a lot. Why do they have to advertise a lot?
Someone's trying to hold people up on it.
Samsung needs to tell you why you should buy Samsung. iPhone needs to tell you why you should buy iPhone. Why? Because they're competitors. They're both smartphones, right? They're similar, but different. Man, yesterday my ears started hurting. I couldn't figure out why. I had 2 separate calls where I was on it for an hour, and I realized I don't use this phone to call people like at all. And I did it yesterday for 2 hours. And my ear hurts. You ever written a lot and like your hand hurts? It was like that, but on the side of my head. So what do these smartphones do? They take pictures, they play movies, they Chromecast, they have apps. Okay, you can do just about, you can check the weather, you can hang out on the internet, you can waste all this time when you should be, paying attention in lecture or doing your homework or that type. They're entertainment centers, are they? Okay, but are they subtly different? The Samsung and the iPhone, Apple. Yeah, man. Do they go back and forth? Yeah, man. There are many firms making those types of devices. The 2 market leaders are not even an oligopoly or monopoly. There's Nokia, there's all kinds of stuff out there. Verizon has their own brand. There's options when you go in there. These 2 big players have differentiated products, but they have other competitors too. Okay? Products that have to be advertised a lot. So let's just play an exercise and expand upon our examples of monopolistic competition. Anybody ever watch the Super Bowl? Okay, the commercials are like a big deal. Who are the people who are advertising?
Celebrity.
Well, celebrity, but I'm like the products. What are the Pepsi? Pepsi and Coke. But there are different options of cola, right? Doritos. There's a lot of snack options, right? Okay. Oh goodness, yeah, beer. There's a lot of different beers. Okay. There's many firms making beer. Yes. They are slightly different. Some of them weirdly so. Okay. They're differentiated products. They're monopolistic competition. Thus, they have to advertise a lot. Okay. So here's where we are. We're halfway through. Covered it. Covered it. Covering it now. We're covering it now. Next week. Got me? All right, good. Let's draw some graphs. All right. Are y'all comfortable with these graphs? Yet, at least a little bit. Y'all understand why marginal revenue has that downward slope? Why marginal cost has that upward slope? Okay, average total cost. We quantified that multiple times. We did it in the cost chapter for the cost, and we did it in the perfect competition chapter when we derived from the table the graph. So I just want to make sure y'all are comfortable knowing that the lines I'm about to draw on this board are the equivalent of a table. It's just more fun to look at a graph than it is a table. We're good? All right, good. If you're not good online, get in office hours, I'll help. Okay? Unless you don't go here, then you should pay us tuition and then I'll help. Can I erase this? May I? I can. I am physically capable of erasing this. May I erase it? I've never actually got to refer a student directly to my wife. I'm kind of excited about the possibility.
Yeah, what's your last name?
Just don't fall in love with her, man. I got it. No.
What's last name?
Wycliffe. W-I-C-K. Huh?
Did I miss something?
He got an issue with his eye. Get him some help. All right, so let's jump right to it. Oh, by the way, let's double back on one thing. In the short run, when should I shut down? We covered this 2 weeks ago. It's on the test.
You got marginal cost for your marginal rate.
Well, no. What can I not cover in my short run and stay open? Your fixed costs are fixed, right? Your variable costs, if they keep getting worse and you can't cover them in the short run, what should you do? Bingo. Remember that. That just popped in my head because I was working on making the test. And I just realized the macro test didn't pop again, so I'm going to have to email those guys. In the short run, if you cannot cover your variable costs, shut down. Because in the short run, are you going to make any money as a business? Likely not, right? Let's say you're a restaurant. You're in to build the facility, staff the people, buy all the stuff. You aren't making any money yet. There's no customers yet. Are you going to lose money in the short run? then how do you decide whether or not you should stay open? Remember, variable cost is the decision maker. If you can't cover your variable costs in the short run, close. Okay? Remember that. So, tip. All right. Because remember, we're talking about firms that make a profit and firms that don't make a profit, right? All right. I'm going to draw two graphs. One firm's going to be making a profit, and the other one's going to be not making a profit. I'm not going to label it just yet. I want y'all to look at it, because on the test, you're going to be able to look at it and say, they're making money, they're not. Make good? Does it make sense? All right. We're good there, right? Tell me, what does that look like? Kind of what? You think that's coincidence? How do you determine your supply curve? Hey, at this price, I'm willing to make this much. At this price, I'm willing to sell it for this. At this price, I'll sell you this much. At this price, remember the supply schedule. But what are you considering? What's underneath that? What do you know more about as a business up front? Do you know more about your revenues and your customers you're going to have, or do you know your exact cost of how much it's going to make a sandwich? Supply mimics cost. So loosely, that's a supply curve. Remember that always. It looks just like one, right? When you are when my daughter decides she wants to put up a lemonade stand in our neighborhood, okay? Does she know if anybody's going to show up? Does she know what price she's going to charge? What do I have her do? How much was your lemons? What are the order costs? How much are your cups? What do you want your profit to be? You add all that up and there's your price. Now my daughter's real funny. She says, well, I want about $10 a glass. I'm like, baby, that's going to be some expensive lemonade. We're going to have to add some Cuervo or something. Okay? Yep, he's in the neighborhood. You add Cuervo to anything, they will buy it. Okay. But she can't be the one handing it out. That's a legal issue. So then she has to deal with that. So my daughter's real sharp.
Get her a lawyer.
No, I'll just be the bartender and let her collect the cash. Okay, so we got margin call. Last week we sold. Wait, what is this? Bingo. Do I have supply and demand now? Do I have supply and demand? So where do we operate? Yes and no. The temptation is to say we're right here, right? Temptation to say here. But what did I tell you? If you remember nothing else about these last 5 chapters, where do we operate? See, I had to teach you supply and demand to get you to understand supply and demand. Marginal cost is a loose interpretation of supply. Okay? If you're starting up as a business, you probably don't have your full supply schedule, but your marginal cost you do have, and you can build your price based on that, correct? Then you know if you want to maximize your price. Remember that first table we did? It was really long, and it was very tedious for me to keep things straight. And we got down to marginal cost, and then the next table we came up with the next week was marginal revenue, and I said we want to be where MR equals MC, because that is the point where possible profit goes to 0. Remember that? I mean, I know you're tired, but I need you to remember that. We want to operate where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. If you don't remember that, go back and review it, okay? It won't take but a second. It will come back to you. All right? Marginal revenue, though, tends to pitch like this. Marginal cost tends to go up over time. Marginal revenue tends to go down over time. Okay? It's decreasing at an increasing rate. You see that? All right, while costs are increasing at an increasing rate. All right. Where do I want to operate? Bingo, right there. That's my coin, right? My coin with marginal cost, marginal revenue. Can I tell if either one of these are making profit yet? What do I need? I got my marginal cost, which means my next cost for my next unit. So as I move here, my marginal cost goes up. All right. As I move here, my marginal cost goes up. As I move this way, marginal revenue goes down. I'm certainly not going to be over here somewhere because I'm not going to go past that point. So we're halfway there. We're halfway there. But can you tell me if you're making a profit yet? What is profit? Profit is total cost or total revenue, excuse me, minus total cost. So I need my total cost up here, do I not? And that'll tell me whether or not I'm making money. Okay. Let me put total cost in red because it's an outgoing, it's what you expend. All right. I'm gonna draw it kind of tricky. Try to at least, working off figure 2 in your book. I put these things on YouTube. I had some kid, like somewhere in some other country, saying, well, you drove that curve, you drew that curve a little bit not right. I deleted that comment so fast, I want to put something on there. It's like, well, you come down here, do this live on a board, freehand, and see if you get this curve perfectly right. Here's the thing, though, the kid was wrong, that's why I deleted the thing. I didn't want y'all seeing that comment and getting confused on the test. You should check out the comments on my YouTube page sometimes. They're wild. I try to delete as many as I can, other than the ones that said, you were great, you saved my life. I love those. I'll leave them. Okay. We know every total cost starts high, dies, bottoms out, and goes up. Remember that? Economies of scale, constant returns to scale, and then diseconomies of scale. Remember that? God, I've thrown so much at y'all in so little time. I'm so proud of y'all. You know that? You're so close. You're 3 weeks away from the finish line. Do you understand that? It ain't got to be pretty. You can cross the finish line like this, flexing. You can cross the finish line like this, dying, or you can cross it crawling. Just cross the damn thing. You understand? All right, do what you got to do. I'm proud of you. Thank you. I really am. I meant to say that at the beginning before we started talking about eye stuff. Okay? Which is okay because I'm concerned about you as well. Because you get really smart. I want your vision to be on point. Woo, let's do this. Dear Internet, I know that might not be perfect, but I got a PhD. You got to call me Dr. Kiesler. Chances are you taking this class, you ain't doctor anybody. So, take that. Okay. What I tell you as a business, you need to be obsessed with. Everybody says profit, revenue, profit. What do you got to be obsessed with? Cost, man. It's the only thing you can control. Who's making money? Who's losing money here? Let's say this is A and this is B. Which one's a loss? All right. We got A. We got B. Who's operating at a loss?
You said at a loss?
Yep. Yep. Who's operating at a profit?
Okay.
People get tempted to say, well, they're not making any money either. This is a competitive market, but what puts the monopolistic part in it? If you recall, a monopoly didn't stop here at price, right? What could they do? That's the monopolistic part of the competition. They don't operate here. This isn't equilibrium. It's a false equilibrium. This mimics supply, but it's not a true supply. They operate here because where marginal cost equals marginal revenue, you're either maximizing your profits or minimizing your loss. Okay. Now, if I have a loss in the short run, when do I shut down? Yes. When you can't cover your variable costs. Okay. See this? This yellow line going up puts the monopolistic into the competition. You got me? All right. So what does that make? Okay. So your cost is here. Yes. This tells you where to operate quantity-wise. Because you have some market power, not absolute market power like a monopoly, but because you have some, Apple, right? Samsung, you can creep on up here to that demand curve because at this quantity, that's what consumers want. They'll pay this price. Okay? Temptation is draw a line right here. I should draw a line right here because this is where that line crosses over my cost. Man, I can't draw straight for nothing. All right? This is my cost. This is my cost right here. Cost line. This is my revenue. Profit equals revenue minus cost, is it not? All right. What's this box right here? Okay, that's profit. You know, woke up this morning, you know you're gonna be able to look at two graphs and say, these people are making money, here's how much. Like if I put numbers here, like this is 10 and 5 and that's 20, price times quantity, it's revenue, right? Okay, minus total cost is profit. You can tell me how much this is. Okay. But you gotta be able to look at this graph and say, A's making money, B's got what? A loss. Now, hey, great, I have monopoly power, I can come all the way up here to demand curve. What's the problem? I gotta come all the way up here to find my cost curve. Are my costs too high? Yeah, buddy. What's this right here? My loss. Now, if you're operating at a loss, all right. Chick-fil-A is a fantastic business idea, is it not? Have you ever seen a Chick-fil-A fail? Ever. Ever. I've seen other restaurants come and go, chain restaurants and everything. I have a little bone about Sonic. I really like Sonic, but they're really starting to fizzle out. Okay? Any place I can go at 3:30 in the afternoon and get a cherry limeade and a corn dog, I'm down. Okay? All right, just it's the right kind of meat on a stick and nice drink. Okay? And that crushed ice. Chick-fil-A. Literally, you could put a Chick-fil-A beside a Chick-fil-A and traffic would be coming out above. You see the like new triple drive-through they're putting up at here? It's crazy, right? That's incredible. It's like an engineering feat. If you haven't kind of paused and looked, don't rear end someone, but look, okay? It's going to be pretty cool. All right. By the way, my guy Will Lane is over at the mall. All right. You can get on the app, pull up in the parking lot, and they'll just bring you. I got my stuff in like 3 minutes the other day. Ridiculous. You do need a golf cart. I'll talk to Will about that. Okay. Here, you're like, okay, this is short run. All right. You're losing money. By the way, if I put another O in there, that would be losing money. Losing money is L-O-S-I-N-G. I don't know why. I've seen like even my colleagues write loose. Okay. This is losing money. This is loose. They are not the same thing. Okay. All right. Losing money is crap. I just lost some money. Bad. Loose is for the bowels after 10-cent taco night on Tuesdays. You know what I'm saying? Too much information. But that will stick with you. You will not forget it. This is not lose. You're losing money. Should I stay open? That's the question. What's the answer? Here, I don't know. I don't know. What do I need? How do I determine whether I stay open in the short run? Where's my variable cost? Where is it? Do I see it up there yet? And this is taking your graph from the book and looking a step further. What if my variable cost looks like this? Am I covering it? This is my entire cost, right? This much of it is my variable cost. So by staying open, I'm covering this much of my fixed cost. Okay, stay open. Am I covering my variable cost? This is average variable cost. Stay open. You're all like, man, I wish I had multiple colors like that. What if that's my variable cost? Not covering that one. See this gap right here? Every day I'm open, every unit I sell, I get poorer by that amount. And I don't have to. Variable cost is elective. Okay? Variable cost is elective. You understand? You don't have to lose that money. This is variable cost. Lose. Right? Most businesses are going to lose money when they start. If you find yourself in a hole financially, socially, whatever, okay, romantically, okay, if you find yourself in a hole, what's the first thing you should do? Put down the shovel. Quit making the hole deeper. You understand? Every unit I sell, I'm making the hole deeper by that much. This business won't work. In the short run, this business works because look how much fixed cost I'm covering. Fixed cost, you got to pay either way. You understand? That's rent on the restaurant. That's getting an LLC. That's retaining a bookkeeper. That's doing all these things you have to do, whether your business is open or not. This is what made the pandemic so hard because business had to pay their rent either way. You understand that? Businesses had to pay the mortgage, the rent either way. And they couldn't get anyone to come in, so they had no revenue. So they had to look at this. What can I cut to lower my variable cost? If my variable cost was up here, and every day I stayed open, I got more debt by that amount, which doesn't look like much, but what if it was this amount, okay? Shut down. Lay off your people, even if it's temporary, okay? Now, in the long run, if I have any debt and I'm not making money, what should you do? Close. You don't have a winner. You don't have a winning business. But if I'm a business starting up, that Chick-fil-A right now is taking a hit. There's no chicken being sold there right now, right? They're spending all this money on all this construction. They making any money? But what do they know in the long run they're going to be making? Money. They're going to be able to roll so many more people through that place. It's going to be ridiculous. But I'm still going to stick with my man, Will Lane, over them all. Because he sticks with me. Plus, he's a good old country boy from a farm, just like me. I like him. So, questions? How we doing on time? 10:05, 40. You mean I've basically finished with 10 minutes to spare, and I started 3 minutes late? I'm not trying to brag because I'm about to trip down the stairs because pride comes before the fall, literally. Okay? But,
I have a question.
Yeah, far away.
What's I saw on the homework last night, or last homework. What's indifferent?
Indifferent?
Is it like in the middle or something? Did it have like stay open, stay closed, and have indifferent?
Oh, that's if you hit it right on the, like, so if average total cost literally went through this point.
Oh, okay.
So this is almost indifferent, but it's a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
If it went right through it, your choice.
Oh, okay.
Your choice. But if you're indifferent, and if it's this close, you better watch it very closely. Okay, but that is slightly higher. Indifferent would be right through that point.
Oh, okay.
So chances are it's going to be one or the other. Okay, it's going to be one or the other. But if you're right on, you literally need to map that every day. And keep in mind, this is a table in a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet that you can call up a graph or you can just look at and say, there's one column that's going to have your cost, right? Your average variable cost is nothing but your total cost divided by, or your total variable cost, right? Divided by your quantity. You can put that in an Excel spreadsheet, right? And then you're going to have your marginal cost, marginal revenue over here. And at that quantity, were they equal? Are you covering your variable costs? You can look at that in a table. This is just a graphical explanation. That can be an Excel spreadsheet, and you can look at 3 columns and say, we better close, or we better stay open for now. Okay? Or I'm indifferent, and I better watch this tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after to see if it's trending towards shutdown or trending towards stay open. I can guarantee you won't stay indifferent. It'll be one or the other. And then keep in mind, marginal cost also tells you, marginal cost equals marginal revenue, also tells you the quantity you need to produce. And then you know as a manager how many employees you need to have to produce that. That tells you how many people you need to hire. One of the toughest things in businesses is everybody thinks, my job would be easier if we could hire more people. Is that justification for hiring more people? No, that's selfishness. Okay. The justification for hiring more people is I'm going to bring in one more person and she's going to help me make this much more money than she cost me. Should I do it? Yeah. I'm going to hire another person. He's going to make me more money. Hire a third person. I'll start losing money. Should I hire him? Nope. Can you see how this, I mean, a 200 level class, right? This can help you make decisions that are $1 million decisions for your business. $1 million decisions. So this isn't a class you're surviving. I hope this is one of the things that you actually bone up on and study. Because if you can get this, there are companies that want you. If you can get this, your business will run better. Because I love entrepreneurship. All right, I love entrepreneurship. I like starting little companies, very small, stuff you don't even hear about. Daggone it, I'm up here on average variable cost. What do? Ball it up, throw it in the trash, try again. Or try to figure out how to get that cost down, right? Okay, that's where I make my determination. It ain't, oh, gee, I'm gonna open and see if it works. It's right there. Because they're all losing money at the beginning. Amazon lost money, lots of it in the beginning. Google was ridiculed in the beginning. Apple, two geeks in their parents' garage laughed at. Lost money at the beginning. Did it stay there? Everybody's like, oh, those are all these great examples of companies that made it. There are trillions of businesses that are this instead of that, and then long run, it got shut down, right? It's the ones you never hear about. It's called success bias. You think everybody can do it? Nobody can do it. Yeah, Steve Jobs dropped out of college and became a gazillionaire. Does that mean you are going to? No. I'm going to equip you with decision-making points like this. And if you do your part on the back end, I promise you it'll be worth it. Okay? Let me just double check, make sure it's not something I want to cover. God, I love this class when it's actually 150 minutes. At the end of each one of these chapters, the previous 3 chapters, actually the previous 4, because they did one for cost too. This table is probably the most important table in the entire reading of the 5 chapters. It is table 1 in chapter 16. Table 1 in chapter 16. It is a summary of everything you need to know. So if I was like doing an in-person exam, not online like we're doing, and I allowed you like an index card or whatever, here it is. Here it is. That's a cheat code, bro. It tells you exactly where marginal revenue is, where marginal cost is. It's a cheat code. Table 1, chapter 16. Next week, we change it up a little bit with oligopoly. I love it. Y'all are going to look at me like my dog looks at me when I give her a confusing command at first, and then you're going to love it. I promise. So come back next week with oligopolies, and we're going to talk about a little thing I like to call game theory, and it can literally help you predict human behavior for the most part and come out with outcomes, be it the Cold War, Russia versus the U.S., a left-handed relief pitcher versus a right-handed batter in Major League Baseball, Jack and Jill going up the hill, Bonnie and Clyde trying to get away from the police. We're going to cover all that next week. It's one of my favorite lectures. Y'all be sure to be here. Thank you.